Welcome to Hospitality Branding. And today we're talking about storytelling. I am with my co host again, Latoya. Latoya is from LRTS Media, and she has been doing an excellent job of really telling us how can we engage with our guests and really write to them in a way that connects with them. And today is going to be no different. Our topic, as you could see, is the guest is the hero. Everyone loves a great story. We want to see that hero win the girl, overcome their challenges, and at the end of the day, they gain their success. A lot of times, though, we write like we're the heroes. We are the one that's coming into the picture to save the day. When in actuality, we really want to position the guest as the hero in this story. And we are more like the guides. We are telling them how could you accomplish your goal. So that's what we want to talk about. So if you're here, you need to share this with a friend. As much as we focus on hospitality, a lot of what we share is applicable to almost any business, especially if you're in the service industry. All of the content will be relevant to you. If you're here for the first time, you need to join the webinar. To join the webinar, you simply need to go to the link, and I'm going to share it in the comment right now. Why do you want to join the webinar? So that at the end of the sessions, we will be sharing with you all the different feeds for the link. So there are times you're very busy and you might miss the webinars. So we would summarize a lot of the content and we will then email it to you. So when you're in your free time, you can simply get the content and watch it. A lot of times it will be summarized. We'll do it in pieces or so forth. In addition to that, you should join the group. We have a Facebook group where we meet and we try to share content that will be relevant to you as well. So that you might just be interested in getting some ideas. You might have questions. You want to connect with Latoya, connect with myself. You want to ask questions, join the group so that we could share more information with you. But let me bring in Latoya so that we can get cracking. Latoya, how are you doing this afternoon? All right, so you are muted. I think I might have muted you. So just
Yes.
unmute yourself.
Perfect. I'm doing great this evening. And you?
I am doing excellent. I mean, I'm just excited about the topic. The guest is the hero. I mean, we all enjoy a great hero story. I know growing up, there was this idea that the first person you saw in the movie was the hero. So I wanted to make sure I catch the first few seconds because if I saw the person, I know that's the hero. So it doesn't matter what he gets into. I know he's not gonna die because the hero never died in most of those westerns you came up watching. And so you were always fascinated by the story of the hero and how he really overcome his challenges and so forth. And we all have that little hero in us. So I'm really excited about today. So I know you're going to be taking most of that. So I'm just going to be setting the stage for you. How we normally do our sessions, each of us do a short presentation. And at the end, if you have any questions whatever, just ask us in the comment section so that we could have some engagement before we close off. But Latoya, what have been most interesting to you in the whole concept of looking at the guest as the hero?
Well, I think, as you rightfully said, sometimes it's not about you, it's all about the people that you're serving. It's all about the guests, and it's always good just to hear their voice, to hear what matters to them. So, and that has always been interesting. And funny enough, the hero always comes with really interesting perspectives. So, your guests always have something interesting or nice to share, and you will find a way to build a story around it.
I love that. And there's going to be more we'll be able to talk to, but let's jump right in. So, Latoya, I'm going to put you in the backstage for a few minutes, and I am going to be doing a first part of the presentation, and I'm just going to bring in my slides now. So, I want to talk about how do you provide value to the guests. Knowing that the guest is the hero, and we're talking about writing content, and this is not always applicable about writing a blog or writing a story. But any type of content you're writing for your guests, do you have a social media page where you engage with your guests? Do you have a Facebook page, a YouTube page, a Twitter, whatever it might be? If you're writing content for your guests, you want to be able to provide value. I mean, it's easy for us to simply get into an idea of selling what we have to sell. I know, but you have to resist the urge to simply say, buy, 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 buy. They may be interested in it, but if you able to connect with them on the problem that they're facing or what is interesting to them, without you doing much selling, they themselves will be asking you about how can I buy your content because you've already helped me so much. Just give it to me. I want to take as much off of your hand as possible. And that's the value of giving or answering a question for your guests. So how are ways that you could do so? And this is about creating content for your readers. Whoever's engaging with your content, think about them. As we're saying, the guest is the hero in this story. And for every hero, they always, or a good story has a challenge. And your hero has some sort of challenge. They are trying to figure out something. Is either this hero is very busy at work and they're tired and they just want to rest. You need to be able to answer that question. And how are you going to have your hero achieve that? You want to come in as the guide to be able to tell them, hey, here are some ways and how you could rest. It may be staying at these resorts in the Caribbean. It may be staying at these eco locations, but you want to be able to consider creating content for your readers. So what does that should look like? And I said this before, you want to avoid being too promotional. You want to, and if you think about it, persons are already inundated with sale ads. They turn on their TV and commercials are cutting. You know how frustrating it is to be watching your favorite show, and just when the sweet spot comes, they cut it, and then you got to watch 2 minutes of ads for you to get it. Or you're trying to watch your YouTube video, and then there's an ad come in front of it, and you just can't wait for that countdown to just skip. So you don't want to get yourself caught up in that angle. You want to be seen as someone that's really want to give you content and be genuine about it. That's a good thing, you know. If you really focus on helping the audience, helping your guests, helping the hero of the story, you will find it become easier for you to sell. You know, one of my favorite authors has this concept of jab, 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 right hook, meaning give something, give value. And after you've done that a few times, then you could sell your product and it becomes easy and they don't necessarily see it as so much as a bad thing. Share things to do. And this is in the context of a hospitality environment. You have your page, persons need to come to visit, but a lot of times they're just not coming for a room. They're coming for an adventure. They're coming for, a getaway. They're coming for an escape. So how are they going to escape? They don't want to escape to your room. It's nice that you have a beautiful room, and that's good. But that's the basic. You want to be able to tell them, hey, when you come for your escape, there is a zip line tour that you just have to see. You could swim with the eels. You could go in and see our zoo and see these exotic animals. These are things you could do right in the area from your place to stay. And where's your place to stay here? But I'm going to guide you as to all the things you could do in the area. Most importantly, solve the guest's problem. What is their problem? I'm trying to get married and I want to have maybe a beachside wedding. I don't know all the things I need to do to achieve this. Can I just turn up? No, if you're able to, that's a question somebody have in their mind. If you're able to tell them all the things that they need to be able to get that done, we have the perfect dress for you if you're going to do a beachside wedding. We have how you could set up your item. We have how you could have music on the beach. Maybe it's on the evening. Do you want to have it at sundown and you have the beautiful candles on the beaches and so forth? If you're able to solve their problem, it becomes easier. And if you've told them all the things that needs to be done, who do you think they're going to ask to be their guide to get there? You name it. So as we talk about the type of post or the type of content, there's a few of them and I wanted to share a couple of them to give you some ideas in terms of how are you going to be able to help the guests? How are you going to be able to provide valuable content. So here are a few types of posts you could make. Number one, food post and recipe. There are so much people that are traveling just because of exotic cuisine. They see the certain food in a particular area that is just unique to that. When you're eating the same thing every day, there are times that you just want a change. I remember traveling to New York and we were traveling on the street and we saw this Korean store and I was just so intrigued, like, what does Korean food taste like? What are the menu? What's the authentic Korean dishes? And there was just guys in the window telling me to come in, and they didn't have to encourage me much as I got in. I was just hooked. It was just so creative, the way it was packed, just the different flavors and so on. I want to go to Korea now. I mean, that was Korean street in New York, but I was just fascinated with the food that I wanted to now travel to taste authentic Korean food. And that's just the difference that you could do. I spoke about Jackie some sessions ago that does this Caribbean fusion recipes, which takes a lot of European dishes and infuse it with Caribbean and kind of put a blend to it and create a whole different style. So there are people that are willing to travel to experience local cuisine. Show them, give them recipes on how you could create this particular dish. And these are some of the dishes that our chef creates. So you provide a content if they're not there as yet, and they could try it themselves, but they could come and see how it's done the real way, how it's really done in your location. In addition to that, there are what you call list types of posts. So this is you creating the top 10 list of restaurants that you should eat. And you've probably seen some of those. You've probably wondered, okay, I didn't know this. Maybe the top 10 Caribbean dishes that you need to try. And you might be creating some of those dishes as part of your guest property, but you still want to give people that variety so that they could think about, I probably tasted 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, but I didn't try 6 and 7. Let me try these, because you've already curated that list for them. They are now able to trust you more and come back to see, hey, what are the top 10 tours that I should probably do when I'm in Antigua? Or maybe what's the top 10 historical sites in Jamaica that you should go to? I remember traveling to Jamaica and going to like the Bob Marley Museum. And I only found out about that because I was on Expedia just wondering, what are some things to do when I'm in Jamaica? And those were some of the top things to do. Or there was this great ice cream factory that makes custom made local ice cream that was just well carved out, but that was on a list. So creating like a top 10 list or a top 5 list is a good way of doing that. What about doing destination guides? What are the things that you need to know as you're going to a particular destination? Such as, let's say, it's Carnival. What are the Carnival events that you want to be able to share with the guests? A good way in how you could do this is also talking about off-peak events and like on-peak events. And this is excellent for you. So on-peak events might be Carnival events, maybe certain Easter events, maybe, you have, if you do regatta, so there's some islands that have these island regatta that is, and where people may travel from all over the world to come with a yacht and do yachting events and so forth. And they have all the different breakdown of things you could do during this weekend or during this week activity. So it might engage those people that are participating, and it also will be valuable for those people that just want to be part of it. So doing that destination guide is a nice way of getting people to come back to your content over and over. Another thing is luggage packing guides. You're coming to a particular location. What are some things that you should pack? Because you're not accustomed to some of these things. You probably don't have, scorching sun, maybe where you're at or where that guest is coming from. So you might have to remind them to, hey, walk with your suntan lotion. Maybe they're coming to some sort of eco-friendly environment where they're going to be hiking and you're going to be doing some sort of nature tour. So like here in Tobago, we have one of the, I would say, it's like an endangered area where it's one of the largest in the world rainforests, where you may want to come and do tours, and it has nice waterfalls there or so forth. But you're not going to be going into the rainforest with your long heels and your church shoes. You're going to need to get your hiking shoes. You're going to need to get things that is going to be able to get wet. You might get your raincoat, whatever it is. You want to be able to tell people these are the things you want to pack in your luggage if you're coming to this destination. If you're interested in this type of activity, you want to make sure you pack these things as much as possible. So what are some recommended tools I would suggest if you just want to get some idea as to how to find content, how to find what people are interested in knowing? Because coming up with the ideas sometimes is a challenge. So one of the site I visit a lot for ideas is called answerthepublic.com. I just put the names, it's easier for you to remember. And what this site does, it really gives you an opportunity to put in a keyword, and it gives you a lot of the questions persons are asking around that keyword, right? So that's the other tool I use a lot is called Uber Suggest, as in the word. So if you have a particular keyword, it shows you what a lot of people are already searching for, or what people are writing that is ranking very high already. It's a free tool. All of these you could use for free. I think Answer the Public gives you like 3 free questions per day, and Uber Suggests you can ask different questions, but you probably won't see all the results unless you pay. But these are 2 tools that I will definitely recommend. So most importantly, as I said, make sure you give value as you look to create content. So Latoya, I've just set the stage for you. So I know that you probably going to take this and lead us into now, making the guest the hero. But guys, if you have any questions whatsoever, you could leave it in the chat. Thank you for joining us, Stacy. Nice to have you. Karen, nice to have you in. And Susan, thank you for joining as well. Let us know how you're hearing us on your end. So Latoya, I'll put it over to you now so that you could take us through your paces.
Sure. Well, definitely it's all about the guest and not about your brand. And that's a really interesting statement, because most times when you start a business, you have a company, you're delivering a service, they do tell you that you need to focus on your brand, whatever you're offering. But part of your brand actually is being able to know who your guests are. So we're going to take it from that angle today. So a bit about me, as I said, about 10 years or so in communications consulting. And for me, I live with a very global scope of life, and that's really important because it really brings different perspectives to you. So the first thing I want to tell you is simply you have to connect with your audience. In customer service, they always say the guest is always right, the customer is always right, etc. So you need to know who is your audience, who you're targeting, who you're talking to. And a lot of my presentations always have to do with memes, because I think it's just easy. It just really hits the nail on the head that when you're presenting your information to your guests, when you're planning your marketing plan, when you're planning whatever brand content and design that you want for your audience, you need to know who you're speaking to. If you own a family resort, then you need to understand that you're speaking to parents and children. But if you have a resort and you want to focus on more high romance, couple kind of exclusive content, then you need to tailor your ideas and your programming around to that. If you're catering to business persons, very corporate persons, meetings, conferences, that kind of MICE tourism aspect of it, you need to understand that there are certain key things that will accompany that. So you definitely need to know your audience when you're planning your campaign, your content towards the guests that you're serving. That's the first thing. Then, because this session is about content, marketing, putting the information out there, fresh content is critical. And fresh content could mean evergreen content. Evergreen content means that it's not dated, it's not time bound, but it's the same thing that could be circulated in many different ways. So it seems very appealing. So yes, a family might visit your hotel every single year and you offer the same summer sale with the same discount price, etc. But every time they see that ad pop up, wow, it's like they have to book and they have to come by you again. It's the same offer, it's probably the same rate, the same things are going to be offered to the person, but it's really presented in a very fresh, appealing way. So sometimes make sure that you try to be fresh, even if it's the same information. Not stale, because it may not appeal to them and it wouldn't be important to them anymore. but you're really appealing to the needs and the wants of the person really accepting your services. Then, because the guest is important, because your customer is important in the service industry, sometimes it's really good not just to cover a topic, but to really share a story, something that they can relate to. So if you have a family-owned business, I guess part of your unique selling point and the content that you're driving in it might appeal to family. It might be the story of a mother and a daughter going into a business and how that business has grown, or it could have a very strong female leadership style of it and you're appealing to audiences that way, or you could be very leisurely, very casual, very cool, very relaxed, very carefree, and that appeals to the young and hippie people who also ascribe to those values. Whatever you're doing, whatever information that you're promoting to your customer, don't just give them a blank topic, but it still needs to be packaged within a story that people could really experience and people could really understand. Because once your audience experiences and understands your story, then it will make them feel more interested in buying into it, and it will make it an easier way to market and sell that product or service to somebody. So you can't just put 50% sale and that's it. Or if you have a business and for some strange reason because of COVID that you're closing down sale and it's dry. No. Maybe say, you know what? We're packing up shop. We're transitioning to a new location, but thanks to all the years of service with us, and this is what we are offering to you. There are different ways in which you can couch it, but whatever you're selling to the customer, whatever you're giving to the audience, don't just leave it as a raw topic, but actually build a story around it. What is really important when it comes to marketing is definitely understanding your guests' emotions and their experiences. The services industry is a very much experience industry. People only buy your service, they only come back if they could experience something, if the quality is there, if they could ascribe to the emotions being attached to what you're offering. So if you want to offer very high-end luxurious service that is very bespoke, very one of a kind, then you tailor and you massage that. If you're into mass production and you just want to offer generic things to the public, that is quite fine also. But you may then appeal towards such as quick, fast, convenient, easy production, so that persons know they come in, they come out. So if you want to run a setup a quick shop for your business and that's what works for you and people can appeal to that emotional experience, fine. But if you're promoting luxurious, really one-on-one attention, all-inclusive experiences, then you need to show that in the product and the services that you're doing. Because if the guests could feel that, then they will understand. If the customer could feel that, then they could understand. And that will then be part of your brand. And lastly, I know this is sometimes difficult for us to do, but we need to be original and interesting. I choose to put these memes here because, a lot of the time we tell people to think out of the box. But in telling somebody to think outside of the box, you need to be wise enough to realize, well, maybe there is no box. So why are you thinking of a box to think outside of it in the first place? It's very philosophical, but it is really hitting home that when you're preparing for your customer, when you're preparing for your guest, you really want to be really original about it. You want to try to be really interesting. You want to find unique selling points for your business. You must have a most valuable product, and then you massage it and you make it something to be your own. And most good stories for businesses really have something interesting or something original about it. Yes, they say in marketing, you could copy something, yes, but then it's who does it best. And the person who does it best is if you take a product and you add on to it and then you make it something original and interesting. So yes, everybody could be offering, say, for example, food delivery services. That is something common now because of COVID. Everybody's offering food delivery services, etc. But you need to find a way to make that original or make it interesting to appeal to your audience. So really think outside of the box and remember, possibly there is no box. And lastly, I want to leave you with this in terms of good writing is supposed to evoke sensation to the reader. Not the fact that it is raining but the feeling of being rained upon. So when you are offering your service to somebody, it's not the fact that you're selling food to them. It's not the fact that you're offering them a holiday room or a bed, but it's the experience that goes along with the service or the product that you're offering to them. It is what really matters. So it's not about the fact that you're offering a plate of food, but it's probably about the sensation and the aroma of the food and the need that it's being filled. It's not about offering a hotel bed to sleep at night, but it's the idea of a comfortable bed for a person who has been working so hard and save their money to enjoy a luxurious vacation and the comfort that that bed may offer to them. So I just want to encourage you to continue building great content, continue to put your customers first in whatever you're doing, try to understand their story, help their story to become your story, and you blend that together to really make a great brand. Back to you, Josh.
Awesome, awesome as usual. So during your presentation, I remember that there was a key thing we didn't get a chance to share with our guests, which is we're going to be doing some giveaways, right? I mean, at the end of the day, you may not have all the skill set to create wonderful content like we are really offering this point. That's what Latoyaa does every day. And Latoyaa has taken the opportunity to share with my audience some of her services. So if you are interested in taking advantage of Latoya's consulting service, she's going to select someone at the end of this 4 weeks. And it's going to be 3 hour sessions where she will work with you to craft your messaging and be able to create a good content strategy that you could really use and leverage and connect with your customers, whatever business that you're in. To do that, you just have to go to Latoya's Facebook page. It's in the link that I shared in the comment, and just like and follow the page and simply post the hashtag, and it's right there. It's just post the hashtag LRTS Media on her page, and you will also get discounted service as well. Vivid Consultancy Group is also offering a free hospitality website valued over $2,000. So if you have a hospitality business and you are looking to get a website done, we will design your website for free. We will also provide 3 months of 3 months support for your website. So making sure that everything runs well and really give you the start you need to take advantage of the e-commerce platform. We will work with you to set up your booking engine and so forth. All you got to do is go to the website winhospitalitytools.com, and I don't see why you wouldn't do this. I mean, it is an investment that is going to be something you will leverage for years to come. So all you got to do, go to the page, scroll down, and you could enter several different ways. You could simply subscribe to the page, like the Facebook page, several ways to enter, and you could enter more than once. You could enter every day. The more time you enter, the more opportunity you have to win. We want to thank Denisa, won our first website giveaway. So we're working with her, and she has some awesome idea. What we met up. She have a B2B idea. I can't tell you the details of it. I mean, it sounds like someone was listening to you, Latoyaa. She has some original ideas for her B2B that she's going to be launching very soon. So we're happy to be working with her to create her vision and have a platform for her to be able to launch her new B2B project that she's going to be doing soon with a totally new website designed by Vivid Consultancy Group. So if you're looking to get a new website for your hospitality business, just go to the link and enter. We are going to be selecting our winner after our final session, which will be next week. So thank you
Next
so
week,
much.
Monday to be precise.
Yes, next week, Monday, and definitely join the group. So if you need to get any updates or changes or so forth, you will be informed. If you have any questions, definitely join us in the group so that we could go over those details as well. If there's going to be a change, we will definitely let you know. Any final thoughts, Latoya?
Sure, I just want to encourage persons, the guest is always right. That is just a basic fundamental marketing principle. But what I want to encourage you in terms of content production for your company is understanding co-designing. Those nice little suggestion box or testimonials, or now the guests are the ones that are doing really nice videos and posting reviews to really boost your organization page. I think that is really important. Getting your guests involved in that building of the content, because when they experience your service, they tell the story about it. So sometimes it's not always about you flooding and pushing information out, but it's also about letting your guests or your customer also tell that story on your behalf. And if you take that approach in terms of understanding that the guest is a part of your brand, that is really important. Because if you keep on having grumpy customers or grumpy guests, you're going to get bad reviews. You're going to get very grumpy posts about your business, and then you will end up with a bad brand. But if you really have good stories that are being told by the persons who experience what you offer, then you're on your way to definitely building a great brand, and the customer is a part of that brand strategy actually.
All right. Just before I go, if you have been noticing any of our graphics, that's been done by CGL Visuals, our graphic design sponsor for our webinar. So if you are looking for graphics for your website, your social media page, product photography, you want to visit their website and connect with them. They offer some excellent service, motion graphics, they do product photography and so forth. So that is CJL Visuals. They are definitely one of the best graphic design agencies I have worked with since I've been in the business of sales and marketing. So check them out. I put their page link in the website so that you can really level up your scroll stopping images if you need to really post content on social media or your website. So thank you again for joining us. You saw the links, connect with us. If you haven't liked our page, shame on you. You should have liked it already, but we're going to give you another chance. So go to our page, like them. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube page, just click that notification bell as well. So when we post more videos or go live, you will be notified. We will see you next week.
Bye everyone.